This is Howard of avtransfers.co.uk saying hi and welcome to our channel. We digitize all sorts of ancient media and look at old technologies as well. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please subscribe to our channel or visit us on our main business website avtransfers.co.uk. Based in Elstree, Borehamwood, we can digitize pretty much anything. Well, today we're looking at a very interesting piece of kit. It's made by a company based out of Taiwan called Datavideo, or Datavideo if you prefer, and they came up with some very interesting contraptions over the years, and I have a number of them here in the studio. Not really useful in a lot of ways in today's world, but very interesting nonetheless and perfectly functional. So one of the things I've got here is a Vdr-3000 CD recorder, but it's a CD recorder with a difference. It does video, super video, or it's super VCD, mini DVD and VCD, and as well as that audio CD and picture CD. So a multi-talented recorder doing a lot of interesting things. So today we're going to take a brief look at the machine, chat a bit about it, and also show you some of its recordings. So stay tuned, and here it goes. Hello everybody, this is Howard from AV Transfers with a new old item, shall I say. Today we're looking at Datavideo. That's a company that makes a lot of video processing units. Do they still exist? I have no idea, possibly. But what we're looking at today is a very unique recorder for its time period. This was made in 2002, and DVD recorders, I think, were pretty expensive, if available, and the media were also very expensive. So Datavideo came up with a very good idea. This is a CD-ROM based, or CD recordable based recorder, and it can record VCD, which is an hour of very low quality video in MPEG 1, I believe, SVCD, which is higher quality video in MPEG 2, but at sort of a funny resolution, and I think it's like half an hour on a disc, or CD-DVD-S, which is basically a DVD but on a CD disc. So there was sort of an area where you couldn't affordably do DVD recording, so you had to do it on a CD, and that was not that compatible. Most DVD players at the time would only recognize the disc as a CD, and it was pretty much useless. But if you had a Taiwanese or Chinese player, sort of the no-name brand cheapies, they would play the disc as a DVD. So you could record like a half an hour DVD quality on a CD, which was really nice, and this could do it. And not only that, this machine can do audio, so you can take a regular plain CD and record just audio tracks onto it in the same way you could with an audio CD recorder, but this one doesn't require a special type of discs. It can use any blank CD media. Can it use rewritable? I think it maybe not. Oh, yes, no, I think it would. It has an erase option, so possibly yes. So very simple sort of front end to it. We're going to plug it in a moment. But a CD recorder, not a DVD recorder, and a very heavy duty. So, I mean, this thing must weigh about 8 kilos. Oh, flippin' ankle. Okay. So we're going to plug it in and have a look. Here's a quick look on the underside of this recorder, and if you look at it, you can actually pull out this module, and what it is a LG SVRM100 CD recorder, essentially. not looking too bad for wear considering its age, and it's got an IDE connector and power, so quite replaceable if it fails. It's a great pity that the more modern DVD recorders didn't employ the same sort of system where you could just remove the drive and use a standard computer drive. Granted, this one's had its lid removed, but you know, for all intents and purposes it is just a computer drive. Interesting. Okay, so taking a look on the inside of this is a very interesting design. It's all very modular. It looks like every piece was made by a different manufacturer, and if you look here, from what I can tell, this is the DV board. This is the DV in connection in, and this goes out to some sort of a hardwired connection straight into the main PC board. This is your IDE connector and your power. A very elegant sort of solution, which is very interesting. TGR, switching power supply. Let's see, we've got 5 volt, 3.3 and 12 volt. Anything else? Don't see anything else. Now the machine is marked as 240 volt, but judging by this, it can do either. I don't know if it would need to be switched, but the whole recorder inside, the whole IDE recorder, is actually encased in this very solid metal cage almost, yeah. Very interesting. Beautifully made. It looks like a very beautifully made piece of kit. There's a chip on here which says PAL, so I guess you're locked into a PAL output. Even a IC with a socket. You don't often see that in consumer electronics, a socketed item that you could take out. I wonder what that was about. Really quite interesting, and even things like this where you've got springs to make sure that the case is properly earthed. Yeah, pretty amazing. Taking a look at the back of this, I see here it has actually got a switch, and you need to choose which range, if it's 100 to 120 or 200 to 240. So this has been set to 240, and you've got a couple of nice inputs here. You've got your DV direct in. I love that switch for that option. It sort of suggests hardware, not software switching, which is very nice. It's got composite input and output, as well as a digital input for audio, and of course component video output. So composite in, component out, and this is July 02. There we go. I guess 2002. Is that possible? In 2002 you couldn't buy a standalone DVD recorder, but you had to use CD instead. Very interesting. And here is a separate mic plug-in board, and you could use this for doing your own, I suppose, your narration, or sing along with a song, I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So with the stroke of luck, I've actually managed to find the remote control for this machine, and it's quite interesting. You've got video inputs and outputs. Look at this component. Look at that. It's actually trying to display component on a normal monitor. And S-video input. Doesn't seem to do anything. Audio. So it's got a lot of options here as well. Eject. Yeah, you know you like that. Right? Okay. Buttons, I guess, for direct access. Bookmark. So pretty nice little handset this. Glad I kept that. Okay, let's get a disc and see what we can do with it. Okay, so here's just a regular CDR, 700 megabyte CDR. It's not a DVD. It's one of the newer CDRs, so it's not blue or green. It's got that kind of silver look to it. Let's pop it in. Let's see if it can recognize that. I'm hoping it does. Load it in. Let's see what it says. Loading. Right, it's recognized it. Now on the screen it says, what do you want to do, buddy? What do you want to make with this machine? I can do photo DVD as well. So you could do a DVD on a CD, an audio. The bottom one is audio CD, CDDA. That's as DVD quality on a CD. Photo, okay, I'm not really interested in that. VCD, high quality VCD, or super VCD. What should we do first? So I guess once you've decided on which one, you have to kind of stick with it. So let's make a super video CD. So you've got the menu controls here. Let's go down to super video CD and push, I guess, enter. Preparing CDs. Dun, 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 dun. So while it's preparing that, I just want to show you something also cool that I've sort of figured out. This is basically an NTSC bunch of stuff, and I was testing recordings and things. I found an older media player like this. This is a Sony network player, the SM200P. Okay, it's a vanilla box. It's a PAL version, so it outputs up to 1080, but I've set it to PAL. But what's interesting about it is I can't output NTSC, so I couldn't really use it for the NTSC rack. So what I did was I got one of these little HDMI, you'll see it here, HDMI to NTSC converter boxes over there. You get them for a couple of bucks on the internet. That converts to composite out, and you can switch it to NTSC. So I have an NTSC feed out of this going into the NTSC equipment, and now with this DVD CD recorder, shall we say, I've got the PAL output that's still enabled because it's set to 480i, sorry, 576i, coming out of here. So it's actually giving me a PAL output into there and an NTSC output into the rest of the kit. That's kind of cool. Anyway, I digress. So let's just find something on the network. It's kind of ironic. We're playing, videos from yesteryear, if you like. Let's just see, MTV. Okay, so I've got some stuff I did from MTV back in the day. Let's just play that. Right, I haven't connected the sound. Maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. MTV Music Awards. Okay, so what's interesting here is if you look at the display here, you'll see it actually says Super VCD. It's ready to rumble. Okay, so let's get the sound and we'll do a test quickly. Okay, can you guess what year this was? Look at those songs, Sledgehammer, etc. Kind of cool, huh? The picture's a little bit noisy. There's a little bit of wrinkle dinkle there. Maybe it's just a cable. Anyway, let's push record and let's see what it does. It says record. There we go.
Elton John once estimated that a rock star has a life of about 5 years at the top. Well, that summarizes my career. So, but anyway, that's another story. But he proved that if you own 3,000 hats, you can last a lot longer. Now, Elton John and Bernie Taupin, they've been making hits since 1970, and they show no interest in stopping. So tonight, the Special Recognition Award goes to Elton John and Bernie Taupin.
That's interesting. Okay, so stop that. We've done 45 seconds. It says stop. And we're going to just evaluate what the recording looks like. Okay, if I push play, is it going to play back? Looks like it is.
John once estimated that a rock star has a life of
How's that?
5 years at the top. Well, that summarizes my career. So,
DVD quality off a CD. How awesome is that? And there it goes. Okay, let's just see when it goes to the end of that, what happens.
Since 1970, and they show no interest in stopping. So tonight, the Special Recognition Award goes to Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Once estimated that a rock star...
And it's just going to play it over and over again. That's cool. Okay, let's get off Elton John. We don't really want to look at Elton John too much. I don't mind Elton John. Okay, so we're going to do another little recording here. We're playing off the media box into here via the composite input, and let's hit record. Okay, so it's actually enumerates them. This is the third recording I'm doing here, and off it goes.
So today you have a new substitute teacher.
Quick!
He's kind of a big boy. Hope you like him.
Quick!
I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of the old 50 hertz flicker. I gotta say, it's awful. Anyway, that's more product of the CRT, right? So in 2002, if you wanted to record something at DVD quality, and DVD recorders I think only started coming out in 2003, am I wrong? Let me just check here on my phone. I'll tell you exactly when DVD recorders came out. When did DVD recorders come out? Okay, according to Wikipedia, the first DVD recorders appeared in 1999. Right. Early units were very expensive in 1999, costing between $2,500 and $4,000 US. So let's just say the UK would have probably been slightly behind that curve, because the PAL market always came after the US market, so it would have been within a year or so probably of the NTSC launch. That's very interesting. So at the time that this was launched, you probably paid a few hundred for something that otherwise would cost you thousands, and you got the same quality because you were able to use the Super VCD standard. So that's quite interesting. Interesting piece of information. So I must say I'm pretty impressed with this. Okay, so that's appearing now, and it's a widescreen recording. Obviously it's playing through a PAL TV, so you're going to get letterbox effect. Okay, so I should have actually probably thought of doing this before with the buses and that kind of thing. I don't know whose YouTube video this was, but yeah, let's have a zoom in on that. I mean, these YouTube videos are probably 10 years old. Okay, there's a bit of Moira coming into the picture there because of the camera. I'm going to take it a bit off center and hopefully that'll stop it. Now if I stop this recording, right, and I push play again, with a bit of luck it'll start at Glenn Frey again. Glenn Frey is back on again. Oops, focus. Right. So here we go. So that's the recording on a CD. It's definitely not as sharp. It's not as sharp as the other one. But really, if you were taking stuff off VHS or just domestic cameras in those days, damn good enough. Really interesting piece of equipment there. Okay, so I've been recording now for 11 minutes. I'll just stop now. And in the interest of thoroughness, I'm going to finalize this disc. So let's do this. Finalize. Okay, nothing too fancy. It just says finalizing CD. Shall we time it? Okay, let's time it. Ooh. Okay, hang on. Timer. I made you out of string. Stopwatch. Start. Okay, here we go. So we're going to add about, what, 15 seconds for the time it took me to actually find the darn stopwatch while it's finalizing. And it still passes through the video in the process. And let's see how we go. We're up to 20 seconds now. I don't think it takes an awful long time. It's not like a DVD which has to have a minimum amount of recording on it. I think when it comes to SVCD and VCD in general, the overhead is very small in terms of table of contents. I know that DVD, if it's below a certain running time, the recorder has to write about 1 gigabyte of just empty data to the drive in order for it to be compatible with the players. But that's more to do with I think the red book or the blue book or the green book or the orange book, one of those, the purple book with red stripes. All I know is a DVD, if you've recorded 2 minutes on a DVD, it takes like 8 minutes to finalize it, because there's just no, oh, it's finished, 1 minute and 8 seconds. Okay, so what, 1.5 minutes? Okay, let's stop that. Right, and let's spit that out, baby, spit it out. Oh yeah, so it'll only pass video when it's done. Look at that. It's only full up to, it's only recorded up to there. You can see where my thumb is, where my nail is. That's how much is on this disc. Okay, so here we go. We've got a SVCD of the Drake that I just recorded. Let's put it in the computer. Okay, so we're in my computer now. We've got here DVD drive. You'll see there. Let's double click it. Let's see what happens. Is it going to do anything? Oh, look at this. Oh, that is just unfreaking believable. It comes up with its own Windows player. Look at this. Datavideo SVCD player. It actually writes its own software player onto the disk. So the disks you give your client, you don't even have to tell them to load Kodi or VLC or anything. It actually it drops its own player right in there. Good Lord. Okay, but now is it going to play the next track, or is it just going to play the first track? There's a good question. I wonder. No, wait, there's a menu. There's a menu here. I'm sorry. It stopped there. Now it's going on to 2. It seems like 2 is look at this. 2 hasn't worked so well, but look at that, right? See, I'm filming filming outside. It's very hard to film the screen and actually see what I'm doing at the same time. Let's just stop it there. You can choose full screen. Wow. Play. Okay, doesn't seem to want to play the second track. But how impressive is that? It actually comes with its own software player. It might just be this version of Windows is too new or something. I mean, this is Windows 10 or something. But I suppose if you just recorded one thing, it would be fine. Let's open with what? Oh yeah, there it is. There is the play wind. Everything is there. Let's just go straight to the SVCD folder. This is all the stuff it puts on the disk. Is it clear? I don't know. Sorry. It's hard to see. MPEG AV is normally each sequence is normally in here. So let's go for 2. See what 2 is. It says opening. It's thinking about it. There we go. There's 2, and that resolution that's DVD resolution. What is that? Okay, so we had it as SVCD. Can we see what size the properties of this thing is? Oh, 352 by 576. Okay, so it's almost a DVD. Not quite, but at a very low bit rate, probably that of a CD. A CD can only read what, 300-400 kilobits a second. That's pretty impressive. And that's a real-time capture. And if you think about what was available in 2002, there wasn't a lot of good hardware for capturing MPEG 2. So this is pretty amazing. The fact that it still works after all these years is also pretty astounding. So I'm just opening this up by double-clicking it. Let's just see if my normal Windows Media Player Classic can do that. Let's see if I can do it. Yep, there we go. There's the recording. The sound is just turned down. Let me see the sound will come up. Hang on. Oh, I must have left something unplugged. Wow. Okay, that's all I'm going to say is wow. Well, I don't know about you, but I am pretty darn impressed for something that came out in 2002 that writes its own software to the disk once you finalize it. I don't even know a DVD player that does that, so that you can view it in your computer. It records very good quality at very low bit rates. So wow, what an incredible piece of kit. So I hope you've enjoyed that little look at the Datavideo Vdr-3000. And thank you for visiting us here at avtransfers.co.uk. And I really hope that you'll subscribe and that we'll see you again. But for now, adios.